Hey guys, um, thank you for joining me again today. And for those of you that watched my first video and you're back again, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, I am feeling really compelled to talk. So, for those of you that want to continue listening, that's just perfect, thank you. But I really do have uh, a lot to communicate, so I think it's best I get started. Um, you know, my story truly begins when my healing began, right? And like I've said previously, it was a build up over years to get to the point of um, kind of true, true healing, right? Like the serious stuff. um, but, the call into the unknown or into spirituality or, into the intuitive side of life, um, it did beckon for many a year in my case. And it was something that I was extremely drawn to, interested in anything to try and make sense of life. I've always felt my whole life that I've never fit in. I've never felt like I've had a place, right? Um, I've looking back on my past patterns, I realized that I was constantly jumping. I was constantly jumping from friend to friend as a child, group to group, this to that, and I was just constantly trying to find my place. I was just I unplaceable, if that's a word. I don't know, but I just didn't feel like I fitted in anywhere. And I realize now there was an amazingly good reason for that, and it was all to lead me back to myself and to realize that me and my own company is perfectly fine. I don't need anyone else to make me feel whole. And yes, I have memories of how that feeling of emptiness, that feeling of wanting home, right? And I think it's within us all. I think that desire to find a place to belong is part of all of us. It's ingrained in us, because naturally we um, in this world that we're in, it's not where a lot of us originate from, and our true home is obviously within. We are always actually home. I've come to realize, wherever you are, there you are. So your self is your home. And it's something that we all desperately search for our whole lives. It's something that we seek to fill with things outside of us. Um, and it's a constant search. It's a constant, like, desire, a constant need to to fill that gap, to fill that emptiness, to try and make sense of it. Really, I think is what most of us are trying to cope with, trying to do. And well, in my case, it was anyway. And I have found that, you know, a sense of belonging comes from an acceptance. It comes from an acceptance of not belonging. It's bizarre, isn't it? Quite ironic, actually, but it is true. It's in accepting the unknown, or accepting, you know, the obvious, the things that you cannot change, is where you find home and where you find peace and where you find yourself. So, gosh, what a journey. Like I said in my previous one, this has been a journey of notes, of absolute notes. Um, but incredible, absolutely incredible. Um, I feel it's best that you know, I was wondering about how to structure these videos, and I came to the conclusion, because life is so unlinear, I'm not going to plan it too much, right? I'm going to just pass on, you know, experience, information as it comes to me, as I remember it. So it's going to come in drips and drabs, but I feel it's better that way because our paths are not linear, and because you can't compare paths, the best thing to do is to just take the information as it comes, isn't it? Um, so I like to look at it, you know, previously I always saw it as a line. Do you know what I mean? It was like, in my head, it was, so we've got A and B, right? We know eventually we're going to get to point B in our lives, okay? We're destined for it. It's pre-written. It's your blueprint of your life, okay? It can't be changed. It's destined in a sense, right? Um, but you know, the path to get there is not always so direct as it would seem, isn't it? And we like to complicate things for ourselves. So instead of just going from A to B, we're going to go along, right? And then we're going to check out that very lovely thing that's happening over there. So what are we going to do? We're going to veer off the path, aren't we? Yes, we are, because we have free will and we can do what we like, even if it's to our detriment, and we do it. So off we go, missioning off our path, right? Off we go, searching, 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 searching for happiness, searching for love, fulfillment, whatever it is, you know, we need to fill the gap. And off we go, you know, and we get a bit lost sometimes, you know. So off we go, and there inevitably comes a moment in your offbeat path where you're going to come to realize that there's nothing out there that can fix you or heal you or fill you or complete you, okay? And so in that realization, you suddenly put back onto the path again, and you brought back to the exact same spot that you left originally. So you know your progress up until that point is not for nothing. You know, you can't go backwards. You can't unknow what you already know. Um, but it gives you an opportunity to continue on your line again, doesn't it? Um, and I'm trying to explain this in a way which I'm hoping you can understand in a better sense, because it really, like I said, this is nothing. This is the furthest thing from linear. This path, you know, this path. Um, yeah. So I always imagine it, you know, our own little journeys as stars, if you can imagine it like that. Stars with lots of little lines coming off them, right? And an epicenter, you know, point in the middle, which is us. And I feel that, you know, we're all separate and we all have our different shaped stars and we all have different amounts of little, you know, points sticking, you know, different paths. So there is absolutely no way that you can ever compare to another's journey. But you can get inspired from it, you know, you can learn, and you can be triggered by others. And this is the whole point of it, you know, this is what it is. But um, yeah, so, you know, it doesn't matter where you are along your path. It doesn't matter how far you think you've come or how long you think you still have to go, because ultimately, your path is your path, right? It's something that you created for yourself long before you came here, right? It's something that you planned in order for your soul to evolve. And within that planning, depending on your level of awareness, you will ultimately have to experience some pain along that journey and some lack and all these things that don't necessarily feel very nice, right? Not pleasant experiences. But when you come to the bigger picture of things, you'll come to see that it really is incredible. It's incredible, even the negative things that you have experienced in your life, because you'll come to see that in order to discover who you truly are, you have to first experience who you are not, right? What are you going to have to compare it to? Us as natural, creative, all empowering beings, right? Very, very powerful creators. Um, we, consciously um, came into this life, into, the realm of earth, whatever you want to call it. We came here consciously and we chose to forget our true power. We chose to forget who we truly are inside. And we did it purposefully because in the world of duality, right, um, you get to compare. You get to have the yin and the yang, right? The masculine and the feminine, uh, the good, the bad, love and fear, you know? And in order to truly appreciate the good, you have to first experience the fear or the bad or the lack, right? And so this is the whole reason for our incarnation here. It is to make us appreciate who we are and what we are and the divine, beautiful beings that we are at the heart of it all. Okay? Uh, so, it's a process. It's a process. And you have to be kind with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself. Um, and you have to just take it one step at a time, don't you? There is no other way. um, and what I've discovered as well is that there is no right way. Okay? You will find out what is right for you. You will come to find your own way, right? To find your own way to dance down your path. Because you do. You get to a stage where you just want to dance all the time. That's what joy is about. That's what living in joy is about. You do. You dance, you laugh. Oh, it's wonderful. It is wonderful. So, this is just it. So, I want to, my life leading up to my point of self discovery has been filled with all kinds of adventures and all sorts of different experiences which have led me to this point. Absolutely. And I'm grateful for them all. Every single one of them. I am. And so I would like to begin by talking about my journey from when my spiritual path began. And although I say that and I kind of feel it's always been there, I've always been on this path. I've always been on this path back to self, as we all are, you know. So there's no beginning, no end, really. It's just a continual cycle. Um, but when I first started really, I suppose, becoming aware of things and noticing, um, noticing who I was, and in turn, noticing how beautiful the world becomes around you as you do. Um, like I've mentioned before in my previous posts, it's not all beautiful and pretty and rosy, right? It takes a lot of slog and hard work. Hard work to get here. It does indeed. It really does indeed. And there is no more important work in this world to do than that of the self. There's nothing, truly, nothing, nothing in this world is more important than working on yourself. Um, because ultimately, whatever else you're doing is merely a distraction from that. This is the whole point of living. It's the whole point of being alive. It is our purpose in being born into this world, is to rediscover who we are. And in doing so, opening up your gifts. We all can tap into these incredible gifts um, that have been given to us naturally by the universe, by love. And it is our birthright. We need to just make way for it. We need to clear out the old in order to make space for the new to come in, right? In order to make space for the real you to emerge as well. Um, so that involves getting right down to the intrinsic details of preconditioned beliefs that you have grown up your whole life believing and living as well. Um, you know, to have a spiritual awakening can be very scary, right? You may think that you are going crazy. You may think that you are losing the plot, and people around you, they if they're not in tune with that, they will think the same for obvious reasons. It's a very confusing time for people. But if you're aware and if you know what to expect to a degree, as because obviously each one of our journeys is unique unto us, so each experience of this will be different. But there are some fundamental basics, I think, that most of us go through, right? At at varying degrees. And yeah, I do feel that definitely feeling a bit like you're losing it, is part of it. Because let's be honest, when you jumping down the rabbit hole is a pretty bizarre experience, isn't it? It takes you to places and understandings and states of mind that you would never have imagined experiencing prior to that moment. So just know that throughout that turbulent time, which is always a part of the journey, um, the more able you are to not resist, right? To not try and control what's happening, to just go with the flow, to release whatever is being released from your life, to just let go. Just let go, fall backwards off that cliff. And the more you trust, the more you trust, the more you will see how life catches you, right? Um, every single step that you take into the unknown, it catches you more and more so. And for every time you're brave, you suddenly see a result of that. And you think to yourself, yes, this is real. Yes, I can do this, And in doing so, in learning to trust the unknown and the unseen and the things that you can't understand, to just fully lay your trust there, um, it's the only way forward on this path. right? It's so much to do with trust. And obviously, you will get to know that it is also about it's learning to trust yourself. It's learning to trust yourself. And that's ultimately what it is that's guiding you along this path. And, it's going to shake up all of your beliefs. Trust me. It's going to bring up everything that you thought you should be in your life. And it's going to say, oh, really? Is it? Let's see about that. Okay. Let's kind of throw this into the washing machine and see how it comes out afterwards. Is this really how you thought that your life should be? Right? Is this really how you um, planned it to be? And no, absolutely not, because you just start to learn to say, all right, all right, I'm done. You take control, you take the steering wheel. I can't be doing this anymore. And literally, it is an incredible stripping. It's an incredible undressing of your life that you had envisioned for yourself. And that's a scary thing. That is scary, to watch your entire life fall apart around you. It's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. Um, but fortune favors the brave, doesn't it? It does. It does indeed. And that's what you got to do. You just got to be really brave. And you just got to know that everything in your life is happening for you and not to you. You know, um, we try to hang on, we try to control how we think things should be. And as soon as we relinquish that control, as soon as we let go, that's when you start receiving and you start seeing what it is that life's really about. And you start to become open to a whole different world that you didn't quite realize was there all along. So yes, I would say, this journey to self, it's a process of unbecoming more than becoming anything, right? It's a process of letting go of control. It's a process of trust. It's a process of love. It's a process of just learning to be again, okay? We weren't born in this world to do. We really weren't. It's something that we have been preconditioned to believe, which you will discover yourself. And with time, you will see that. You will see, we are called human beings for a reason. There is no two ways about that. And the more we learn to be rather than do is when life becomes magical. It does. It truly does. Um, when you start to notice the magic in the world again, you know, when you stop and you take note of what's happening around you in the moment, using all your senses, listening, smelling, tasting, feeling, and feeling. It's all part of it, and life just wants to be played with in the best possible way. Uh, it's about becoming a child again. It's about getting in touch with your inner child. It's about living a life that is free like a child, knowing that you're always protected, knowing that you are guided, and nothing can harm you when you're in this space. absolutely nothing. You're constantly divinely protected and guided and loved. Um, and life, you know, life is meant to be fun. Life is for the living, not for the doing. Okay? Um, you will come to an understanding that um, after time, you will see how abundance truly works and how in giving you truly do receive. Um, and you have to let go of your idea of how you feel you should receive abundance and also your idea of what abundance really is, right? Um, but this is just it. This is it's a continual process of learning. You will see, you will discover, which I'm sure you are discovering. If you're following me, you're definitely on the path, you know. So this process of unbecoming, it's truly wonderful, filled with wonder, filled with wonder. Um, so if you are hearing the call, if you are being called to stop, just trust, right? Learn to trust. Why not? What do you have to lose? And if you have something to lose, it's something that you better be prepared to lose, because ultimately you'll come to the understanding that whatever is divinely yours or destined to be in your life can never pass you by. Um, you don't need to hold on to it, because it will come to you when you're ready to receive it. And in having that in mind, you will slowly learn to let go of everything. And because when you do, that's when you truly you gain your own power again, don't you? You bring everything back to yourself. And yeah, there's a lot to be learned in letting go and trusting the process as it unfolds. And the more you let go, the more you'll see that you can, and the more that you'll trust that you're being cared for, you're being looked after. You know, like to have to. A lot of people ask me about when it comes to abundance, about jobs, right? About earning money, and unfortunately, we have been misinformed about how it is that we should um, receive money or abundance or whatever it is that you're looking for. And we've been made to believe that you have to, I don't want to say work, because working is good too, but just in a different dynamic, right? In a different mindset. But what I'm trying to get across is that, you know, to feel the need to constantly work in order to provide a lifestyle for yourself or your family is something that also needs to be let go of. And it's a big one. It is. It's very big. But you will come to see as well that as soon as you let go of that belief, as soon as you let go of um, that way of thinking, uh, you will see how everything comes to you as and when you need it. And it will end up coming to you through doing what you love, you know? Um, so letting go of control is a big thing. I know it's a big thing for a lot of people that I deal with, because in order to feel secure, in order to feel safe, you want to be able to control something, right? You want to feel like you have a say in your life, and you feel if you are able to control what's happening around you, um, that's gonna that's gonna get you to the next place. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. It's actually in the act of relinquishing control is where you actually truly gain real control of your life. In time, obviously, it doesn't just happen like that, but it's a process. It's a process. Um, so, gosh, there's just so much. There's so much I have to talk about. There really, truly is. All these insights and understandings I've come across, and there is so much amazing things out there. When you get to this point where I am in my life, it's truly a blessing. You feel blessed every day, every single day, and but what's wonderful about it is getting back in touch with your truth as well. Your truth, the intrinsic truths of who you are and why it is you're here. We're basically just these massive, massive, little not little, we are big. We are part of a very big thing together, and just creators of our lives. And it's raining leaves. And so a little bit known to people that are not aware of this is we are constantly creating the worlds that we live in by our thoughts, by our actions, um, by our intentions behind things, behind what we do. Um, and our energy that we emit, right? The frequency level that we emit is the world that we're going to create around us. Okay? And, we have, obviously, when you are aware of this, you're going to be much more aware of the energy that you're putting out there. Okay? You're going to learn to discern, you're going to learn to work through any low vibrational energies that may arise, in order not to manifest them in the world around you, in order not to create a world from a place of fear or from any vibration lacking love. Um, Gosh, it's a beautiful day today. It really is a lovely day. I hope you guys are all having a beautiful day too. And take a bit of time out, go smell the roses, go see what's out there. Nature really does have all the answers. It really, really does. When you get in touch with it again, it never ceases to amaze you. It does. Um, so, all right. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, obviously becoming aware of your energies, right? Becoming aware of what you're putting out there will begin to shift your reality as well. It's just something we have to realize, we have to remember, is that the physical world around us takes a bit of time to change, right? The world within us is instant. It's automatic. It's we really are incredibly universal within, and timeless, endless. It's just instant. Whereas this low vibrational, this low density place which we have all been born into, it takes some time. It takes some time for your inner shift and vibration to become apparent around you. So don't give up is what I'm saying. You know, if you are not seeing results instantly, there is reason for it. Okay, there is a process. There's a process that needs to happen, an alchemy of sorts, you know, um, to shift the world that you live in. Okay, and it's constantly shifting. You know, change is really the only constant in our lives. But it's about believing it as well. You know, it's about believing it. It's all about that. Um, you know, children are naturally born as great manifestors. They are. They're born with natural abilities to create the world around them because they are much closer to source. You know, they've just come from there. So it's in using our imagination um, to create our reality uh, is so important. Is absolutely, it's one of the biggest keys to everything. You know, it's about constantly creating, constantly being a child. We were never meant to grow up, right? It's like they say, it's a trap, but it's not a trap. It's just it's a process that often you choose to go through in order to realize that that's not who you truly are. And so, in discovering your inner child again, in being a child again, you know, having fun. Oh my goodness, go run around barefoot, you know, go play with the butterflies. Go go for a swing. Go for a swing on a swing, you know? Do what you did as a child. Because in doing so, it's going to spark something inside you, right? It's going to spark this memory of the true you. And it's in that space that we learn to really live again, that we learn that, you know, we are divinely protected constantly, you know, as a child is, you know, you're constantly looked after. There's nothing to fear, you know. um, if you want to run around in your brooks, do that. Absolutely do that, because, you know, whatever brings you back to your true essence, your true childlike self, is is good, and it's of love, and it is part of who you truly are. So, you know, this path to remembrance of your true self is meant to be a fun one. You know, absolutely, there's hard work to be done. There is, but basically, that is just um, it's the rite of passage, you know, and you do have to do that alone. Same as it's almost like a death. Um, you're born alone and you die alone, you know, and in order to die from the person that you once thought you were, you do have to go through that process alone. Um, but it's not as scary as it sounds. It's not. It's not, you know. Life is fun and it gives you some love along the way, even for the hard bits, you know. Um, but it's about learning to be true and sincere with yourself and your feelings, right? All those bottled up bits inside. It's about learning. I've got a good friend that likes to put it to boiling pots, right? It's your boiling pots that you just want to cram those lids on, and you don't want to go into those, right? Let's just put them at the back of my mind, and we'll deal with those another day, right? Those are the things that you need to be looking at. Those are the things you need to be looking at, and it's all about learning to sit with them, to sit with the feeling, to sit with the feelings that you're so afraid to feel. And it's not about judging them. And it's also not about becoming them. It's not about letting them take over. It's about learning to control your emotions and about learning to just feel them and love them, you know? There's lots of words for them, you know, people call them your inner demons or your, you know, skeletons. But you go sit with your skeletons because you'll come to find they're actually not that scary. And, you know, some of them have some humor even. But they're all part of you, you know, part of your shadow side, part of the side of that you don't want to face. And as soon as you incorporate it into you, you know, as soon as you are grateful for it, um, it ceases to be bad anymore, right? I hope you guys are still with me. I know I'm going on and on and on. I just have such an urge to share this. I have such an urge to share this, so I need to begin. Please bear with me. You know, if it's a bit all jumbled up at the moment, I'm still getting there with learning to communicate properly, okay? Um, so I really, really hope that this helps, okay? For those that are resonating, I hope that this helps. Um, you know, ultimately, you have to take what resonates with you, okay? Not everything I say is going to hit home per se, but there may be just one thing that you take out of this. And that is your soul speaking to you through me, basically saying, that is something you got to look at, okay? Something you got to look at. It may even come across as a painful or a fearful emotion. You know, I may trigger something in you which will make you angry, possibly, or upset, or hurt, even. But all of those are coming from within you, and those are your signs. It's your signposts. They're arrows, okay? So you need to look at them. You need to become aware when that happens. You need to stop yourself in that moment and embrace it and be like, okay, right, let's look at this. Why am I feeling this? Why is this being triggered? Because it's something unhealed within myself that I need to look at. Now, something to leave you with, you will find that all your preconditioned beliefs that have set your life up until this point were created in the first few years of your life. And you will find that everything that you have built on top of that foundation is based on a belief that you made and that you stuck with through childlike eyes, right? Um, Everything in your life will be, you know, can be undone or can be understood better when you go within and you start looking at what happened to you as a child. It will, you know, there are little keys in each one of your childhood memories. So if there's something that you remember from a child, in that memory lies a key. There's a reason why you remembered that. There's a reason why you have a memory of that time in your life. Because in that lies a key to help you heal and to help you realize, my goodness, I've lived my whole life believing this and this and this about myself, whereas in actual fact it was, you know, something that I just took on as truth as a 5-year-old. And from that point on, I have based my life on that, you know? It's absolutely incredible when you come to these realizations. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, guys, let me finish off, okay? I hope that this resonates with whoever it needs to resonate with, and I hope my message is clear to those that need to hear it. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you blessings, and I wish you again a beautiful day. Um, and yeah, from me and my butterflies and my bugs and my birds, have a beautiful, beautiful day. All right, lots of love and light.